Hello, America. We're back with Kathy Grayson for the Artist Series for a special feature on Dash Snow. It's a hard subject to talk about because it's someone we both knew who died, and you don't want to glorify his past, his habits, but you want to pay tribute to him. The last times I saw you, we were both crying.
It's true. You brought work into the memorial that we had organized at Deitch after he died.
And then seeing all those pictures together, it just has, when someone that young dies, and you look at a room of giant pictures of them, it really is a gut punch.
Right, and the fact that Dash never liked to have his photo taken, really. The fact that there was that much about him, like he was so private. You know, it was nice to see all that in one place. It's like, I have a blog, I take 100 photos a day, and he'd always kind of like get annoyed if I'd take his photo. So like maybe I have like 3 photos of him that have ever been on my blog that he like approved. But you know, just to see just his face everywhere, it was so nice. The best thing was this, one of his friends when they were growing up had written, like maybe knew him through age 12 when he got sent to juvie, wrote this really long description of all the stuff they used to do together as kids, like fill condoms with water and throw them like water balloons out the back of his mom's car while they were driving, throw stuff off her balcony just to hear it smash, burn toys on the treadmill, put the treadmill on high and then like burn toys holding them on the treadmill. All these stories that were so fucking hilarious. And then a little photo of Dash from 1990 where you could see like he was 8 years old and he had a little arched eyebrow and a little smirk. Like you could already tell that mischievous, like up to no good was already in him.
He was a bad boy from birth.
Totally.
Do you think that obviously his death was 90% heroin, demons getting into his head and going, just go. I think what heroin does is it says, we all have this innate fear of death, and it's liberating to have that taken away, and I think heroin does that, but you end up on this sort of escalator, leaving, and then you just sort of peace out.
Well, what sucks is I was really close to him from 2003 to 2008-ish, and then the last year of his life, I only saw him like once a month-ish.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that.
Felt detached from him, like he was like family to me, and then I'd see him so rarely near the end of his life, and I felt like I didn't really know what was going on with him. Like he didn't let me in that last year. So like, I didn't feel like I really understood what was going on with him. And so it's hard for me to speculate what was really going on right at the end. He had tattoos that said like, mandatory suicide. Like, he had been somebody who contemplated death and was for all his sweetness and light, had a really intense dark side forever. He's always late at night, sometimes said some pretty dark shit, and so.
Do you think how much of it was wanting to be a star and to go down as a Johnny?
Zero. He had no weird self-mythologizing bone in his body. He didn't even really want to be an artist. Like he took photos as part of his life. I remember when I met him in 2003 for the second time. We were just sitting on his couch going through photos, and more and more boxes kept appearing, and every single Polaroid was amazing, and there were like 100,000 of them. And he was sitting there, and I was like, you have to show these in a gallery. This is like the most important photographic archive I've discovered in decades. And he was like, no, they're not good enough, like I didn't make them for a gallery. Like,
isn't it someone putting out a book of those Polaroids?
Well, Prose Projects put out a book of like 30 of them, but there are 100,000 of them, and as soon as people see it, it's just like, irrefutable. It's, anybody who kind of poo-pooed his art, if they saw this mountain of work, it's like so significant. It's like
he's got all these different personas. Like some people see him as this graffiti tough kid, some people see him as a spoiled brat, some people see him as a junkie, but I just always saw him as a fun kid.
He always had this sort of like mischievous, childlike quality to him.
Yeah.
He liked to play dress up, he liked to run around naked, he liked to dance on the table, he liked to spill drinks all over the place.
Yeah, and he always wanted everyone to be having fun, like that wallflower in the corner. Come over here.
You, this song's for you, hey.
Let's do this.
No, it's true. The saddest thing about continuing on is that I will never have as much fun again. And like, it's really a hard thing to admit. What I'd really like is to one day maybe do a show at the gallery where we like recreate his studio he had 1 million artworks halfway done in his studio. You know, all the collage clippings. He had this whole mountain of skull rings, silver skull rings he had collected to make this molten
Where is all
ball.
that stuff?
It's all organized by Jade and Dan and this lady Blair into an archive. And so I've photos of his studio after he died, every little corner. If we could recreate his studio, people could really see what his process was like, all the unfinished work he was doing, all the cultural things like the books and records, all the things that inspired him. That would make a really cool
I've been hearing
show.
a lot of people putting out a whole series of books about his stuff. It sounds like his art career is going to continue.
His art career definitely will continue, but not for a while. Nobody's going to be doing any shows or selling any work for a while. But you know, Dash was always really hurt by the fact that his Polaroids were not understood by
Really?
people. Yeah, deeply hurt. And when he died, as far as I know, he never wanted to show them again. Which was like this tragedy because they're, you know, literally, like I said, there are 100,000. You know, if you've seen
Everyone
20.
I know who saw them loved them.
Of course, but you know, enough stuff came out in the press that it really hurt his feelings, and he was embarrassed. He thought people just saw them as party photos, and they didn't really understand them and love them the way, you know, certain curators or friends did. He thought that he was misunderstood, and so it's hard with somebody's estate if you want to honor their wishes. Maybe his wishes at the time he died was that he didn't want to show those photos ever. But at the same time, he did care about having an impact on art history and being remembered. So maybe you have to make the decision that if Dash's wish was to be part of art history, that maybe you have to show these photos that maybe he, at the last year of his life, didn't want to show. So it becomes a weird thing of honoring somebody's wishes, you know. And
Well, I
it's
got to
hard
pick up my kids from school.
Okay.
So maybe that's the bigger picture. That being a dad comes first.
That is an extra sad corollary to the story, too.
It's great seeing you again.
Nice to see you, too.
Bye.